Ba 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 da bow, la da ba ba bow, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome, welcome, cheers. It's another Friday night. It's the end of another week that we've all enjoyed or endured. Join me now for the next 45 minutes or an hour as once again, guys, week in, week out, we try to make sense of the senseless. We try to rip, roast, and ridicule the week's events once more. We try to do our best to give your funny bone a funny boner, is what we're all about on this show, on Aid Thompson and Other Disappointments. We're almost 400 episodes in now. 400 people. I'm allowing myself to feel somewhat proud and concurrently ashamed by that. 400 of these. Anyway, how are we all doing? What's happening? What's happening? People in the live chat. Hiddenite is Hiddenite's joined. It says join. Oh, is it Hiddenite's been a member for 3 months? Well, welcome for the 3rd month, Hiddenite. What's up to Diz? What's up to Mojo Sabian? What's up to Brian White? Steve Martin is in the house. Richard Marsden. Richard Marsden logged on earlier and he was like, do you know what? I've had too many ciders. I can't engage with the chat tonight. I'm going to have to sit this one out. And we respect that, you know? It's all about knowing your limits, not pushing yourself. Just chill. Just take a step back. Enjoy yourself. Crack open a fresh one. A cider, a beer, a daiquiri. A double shot of Advocaat. Neat gin. Whatever's your poison, guys. We don't judge around these parts. Me, I'm on orange, lemon, and pineapple cordial. Because it's, you know, it's the hard stuff around these parts. It's, you know, nothing self-medicates quite like really chemically, unrealistically sweet squash. But yes, I hope we're all good. Hope we've all survived, if not thrived. It's been a week, hasn't it? Once again, it's been a week, guys. What's been going on? Let's try and cast our minds back, our memories back. Over the last few days, we've got what's happening at the moment over in the US. We've got Donald Trump flying to Alaska, but he's referred to it as Russia twice. 2 separate interviews. He said he was going to Russia. He's seemingly having trouble remembering which states are his and which states are his bosses. That seems to be what he's having trouble with at the moment, is understanding which country he's in. Which country you're in, Donald? Do you know that? But I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. I'm sure he's not engulfed in the throes of an unforgiving dementia that even his close friends and family are egging on. They're like, hurry up, please hurry up and rob him of his personality. The World Bank said yesterday that UK living standards will soon fall behind debt-laden Italy. I read this morning. That's what the World Bank are saying. I love the way that the Telegraph refer to Italy as debt-laden. You know, it's Italy that are debt-laden. Like, well, we aren't coming in close behind them. Like, is that... It's such a dereliction of, like, reporting. Like, we're not, like, literally right there behind them. It's like saying... What is it like saying? It's like saying, can you believe my skin is this bad? It's almost as bad as a leper. And then your friend is just like, that's because you are also a leper, Jeffrey. Like, that's what the national debt is like. It's comparable. We're in the neighborhood with Italy. Same condition, same causes. It's 14 years of over-borrowing, corruption and decline. And then when we finally do keel over and beg for that IMF bail out, the Telegraph are going to be like, I can't believe Rachel Reeves did this to us. It was Reeves. It was definitely Labour, not the 14 years of decline and corruption. I can't believe she's done it to us. What else has happened? Aspiring leader of the UK's Conservative Party, which is sort of like, aspiring leader of the Tories. That is like applying for a job interview to be captain of the cruise ship that you're sinking on. That is what that's like. It's good to have a goal. It's good to want to go for something, to push yourself, but, think it through, Bobby, is all I'm saying. But no, aspiring leader of the Conservative Party, the UK's Conservative Party, Robert Jenrick, Bobby J, we should call him. Or BJ, for short, perhaps. BJ took time out from doing tax-dodging business deals with pornographers and largely ignoring the rape conviction rate when he was still Justice Secretary, to now bang the drum of boats and hysteria with a Mail on Sunday piece about how he fears for his daughter's safety from all the bloody boat people arriving, all these bloody boat migrants. He fears for his daughter's safety. Which, just in case you're not aware, I'm sure you all are, but just in case you're not, all of that is Labour's fault too, apparently, just like the economy. It's not that the Tories stopped processing refugees and allowed this huge asylum backlog to build up. Fewer than 1% one year were assessed and granted. It's not that they created this humongous, gigantic backlog that then pushed these individuals out into hotels. It's that it's Labour. It's Labour all again. I can't believe Rachel Reeves and Starmer have done this to us. It's Labour who are giving them a free ride with cushy accommodation. That is what is happening. Guys. Over in the States, over stateside, cheers, by the way. Pause for a sip. Catch your breath, allow the hate to bubble up and ferment a little bit more. Over in the States, Marjorie Taylor Greene, friend of the show. Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG. I was about to say MTJ. MTG. Whom we have mercilessly mocked many, many times on the show for, generally just being a bit of a lunatic and having the IQ of a snail. It's, sort of what we've done to her in the past. Anyway, she's had a bit of a tough week this week as the American right's usual safe space for the unmedicated Republicans and conspiracy theorists. That usual safe space where they can just, they can just go there and relax and just kind of be themselves. That place, Fox News, mocked her for being a lunatic and having the IQ of a snail. As well, I mean, is anywhere safe? Is anywhere safe for Marge these days? I mean, how must that feel? How must that feel for Marjorie? Having Fox News tell you that you're the loony and you're stupid. Fox News are saying that you're crazy. How must that feel? I mean, that's like getting your maths homework effed and handed back to you by Joey Essex. That's what that's like. But still, as crazy as she is, as unmedicated as she is, at least she knows what country she's in, doesn't she? At least she has that. She's on the boilerplate there. She just gets in to sane on that basis. What else is happening in MAGA? this week, guys. A little bit of Donny, a little bit of this Russia summit, Donny's dementia, bit of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who else is up there? We've got JD Vance. We normally sort of catch up with a bit of what's happening with him. JD Vance he's on holiday at the moment, right? You may have noticed this in a few of the papers, online. People are not very happy about it. Some of the staff in the local, like, Cotswolds pub that he was going to have dinner in, that he made a reservation in, they were like, we don't want to serve him, and we will all, like, mutiny, which is not going to turn up for work if he comes in. So how about that shit? And then the restaurant had to phone him back, apparently. This is the report today. The restaurant had to phone him back and go, I'm really, really sorry, but we can't do it. We're like, we don't have to start. We're going to have to cancel your reservation. Which, you know, I don't want to be mean-spirited. I don't want to, like, you know, wish people misfortune or have them embarrassed in front of their wife and kids or whatever. But I will just say this, that made me come from both balls. I was so happy. I was so happy when I read that. I legitimately had a double orgasm from both of my testicles concurrently. That's why it's not even my fault. It's not even like the heart wants what it wants. You can't help what you're into, can you? So, JD Vance's vacation plans were confronted with protests. Hotels this week have been confronted with protests. Parliament Square was confronted with protests. It feels like everywhere, like throughout the UK at the moment. You know, there's police, there's shouting, there's arrests everywhere. Everywhere except this fella. Check this out.
Fucking bomb them! Fucking bomb them!
Who do you want bombed? Who do you want bombed?
These cunts!
You want them bombed?
Listen, I'm born and bridge UK, what?
No, who do you want bombed? Who do you want bombed?
These cunts!
What they
fucking
do?
Palestine!
Oh, okay.
Fucking Palestine, what? Fucking bomb them! Fucking bomb them!
Who do you want bombed?
What?
Who do you want bombed?
These cunts!
You want them bombed?
Listen, I'm born and bridge UK, what?
No, who do you want bombed? Who do you want bombed?
These cunts!
What they...
He's not been arrested. As far as I know. You know, doesn't matter that he's stood there in the street, literally shouting, like, bomb them! Bomb them! These Palestine! We should bomb them! And he's presumably, you know, I don't want to make assumptions here, but he's presumably just another grassroots, salt of the earth guy, a patriot with legitimate concerns. I assume that's what he is, right? I mean, what else could he be? What else could he be? He's not racist, clearly. You know, I'm not going to assume that he's racist. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. Those are just legitimate concerns. Grassroots. I mean, how through the looking glass are we now when you watch stuff like that? And then you cast your mind back to like last weekend's protest, and you've got the imagery of disabled guys getting wheeled out by the police. You've got pensioners getting led off by the police for just holding up a sign. And then you got flag-draped morons chanting, send them home, send them home, send them home, right? And then you got this guy, bomb them, Palestine, bomb them. You know, how through the looking glass are we at this stage in this formerly Great Britain, when you've got professors and pensioners and academics getting detained and labelled hate marchers for just politely asking the state to stop basically murdering children? Could you just stop that? That's hate. That's hate speech, that is. You're hate marchers. But then, you know, you got people like this. Like, does anyone actually think this guy is going to get arrested? Like, let's just watch him again. Does anyone truly think he's going to get arrested?
Fucking bomb them! Fucking bomb them!
Who do you want bombed?
What?
Who do you want bombed?
These cunts.
You want them bombed?
Listen, I'm born in British UK. What?
No.
I mean, I like the attitude. I like the, it's a little bit hip hop, isn't it? It's a little bit grime. Yeah, I was born in British UK. What? And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be shitting if I was confronted with him, he was looking at me like this, look at his face. If he stepped to me and he was like, I'm British, I'm born in UK. Yeah, what? I would shit myself inside out. I truly would. He is quite scary. He is. Anyway, back to my original question. Does anyone actually think that this guy is going to end up getting arrested? Do you think that is what is going to happen here? People in the live chat. Do we think he's going to get arrested? Or do we think he's going to get hired by the Telegraph? Like, which do you think is more likely? Is he going to end up with a 5 stretch for inciting racial violence and possibly terrorism? Is that what he's going to end up with? Or a 6-figure contract with GB News? Which do you honestly think is more likely at this stage? It's the voice of the oppressed working class that we should definitely be listening to. That guy, right there, a thought leader. I'm listening. I'm all ears, both spiritually and physically, in case you hadn't noticed. Speaking of inciting racial violence, I'm sure it would not have escaped your peripheries that sweet, sweet oppressed martyr, for all that is good and pure, Lucy Connolly. One of the Lucys. The right, the political right, the Crayola right. They love a Lucy, don't they? Lucy Letby, Lucy Connelly. Well, anyway, Lucy Connolly is out next week, guys. Lucy Connolly is out next week. If I wasn't on holiday, I would be tempted to, throw some sort of freedom party, liberation kind of thing, maybe on the show, on the Friday night show. But unfortunately, I am otherwise engaged. Indeed, yeah. So next week, she's free from the Mandelian shackles we politically imprisoned her with. Is what is happening, as I understand it. And the rights are very excited, are they not? Because they see her as a sort of, a freedom fighter, don't they? They see her as a sort of symbol of how much the left, the bloody left, hates free speech and women and girls at the same time. So the right are very excited that Lucy Connolly is getting out. Let's take a look at some of the reactions that bubbled up across my timeline yesterday and today. Here is tweet number 1. Are you ready? Let's flick over to, this is Queen Natalie at the Norfolk Lion. 128,000 followers, lots of flags. Always good with the flags, aren't we? On the Crayola right. Lucy Connolly is set to be released next week. I'm happy about this. She should never have been imprisoned to begin with. That's Queen Natalie. Lee Patriot Hood at MofoMan360. I'm going to say this is a suspicious account. MofoMan360 doesn't sound like the sort of handle that would be paired with this lady on it. Oh, it's a picture of Kate. I see. Right. Sorry, my bad. Maybe, so he loves the royals, he loves poppies, and he loves Lucy Connolly. Go figure. Anyway, Lucy Connolly's out next week. He says, Lucy Connolly is freed from prison next week. She should demand a full apology from the government for the length of time she spent as a political prisoner. So this is the sort of tone that we're dealing with. None of these accounts that I'm talking about have fewer than 100,000 followers. By the way, like this isn't nobody saying this. If these are legitimate accounts and they reflect the thoughts and feelings and sensibilities of the British right, fine. I'm suspicious. I don't think they are real accounts. I think they're bots. I think somebody's, funneled money and influence and then got them followed by other bots. And I think they're just on Twitter to cause trouble. But the reach of them with over 100,000 each, right? These are being seen by a lot of people. and it muddies the waters. It drags the conversation rightward. Let's do tweet number 3. Tweet number 3 now says Lucy Connolly was manhandled violently to the ground and then physically dragged up 3 flights of stairs, where she was thrown into solitary confinement for the rest of the day. Absolutely horrific. Also by a 100,000 follower account, but then shared by James Melville. Don't know if you're familiar with him. James Melville has 500,000. And I read that one out of all of them. I read it, and it struck me. It was quite, volatile, emotive language and imagery, like the idea of dragging a woman who hasn't committed a violent crime, dragging her up 3 flights of stairs. I mean, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, let's look into that, I thought. So I looked into it, and the grabbed and manhandled stuff there, this is not going to shock you. It just refers to her being arrested and cuffed and moved, which I assume it's standard. Like I mentioned this on one of the paper reviews this week. I made a very silly mistake when I was a lot younger. I drunk drove. I was arrested. I lost my license for 2 years. When I was arrested, they were pretty rough with me. But I didn't feel like a political prisoner. I have to tell you that. I did not, at no point did I ever go like, I'm a political prisoner. I wish I had now. I really wish I had. I might have got 100,000 followers, right? But, so she's been arrested and cuffed and moved is actually the substance beneath all of that. And the dragged up 3 flights of stairs is also misleading. I'm sure that won't shock you. Apparently she was handcuffed, moved, forced to a different wing, and it was a wing of the prison that she didn't want to go to. She thought she was off to a much, much nicer, more gentler, cushier part of the prison complex. And the jail were like, nope. The jail were like, I don't know where you got that idea. You're off to the shit bit. You're off to the really, really bad, rough bit. Lucy, love, I'm sorry. Off your toddle. And she didn't like it. She refused to go. She put up some sort of like, no, I'm not going to. No, I was told that I was going to, Karening in Wing A2 or whatever it is. Now, if you're wondering why she was moved to the more dangerous, less pleasant wing, like the actual reason, honestly, I don't know. Not really sure. Maybe it was a capacity issue. Could have been that, right? All the prisons are full. Might have been flooding, deluges of rain, maybe around that time. Or extreme heat, and there's no aircon, and it's not safe to put people in the part of the... it could be something like that, right? Environmental and health and safety concerns. Or it could have been death threats, right? Maybe somebody in that wing, like they've caught wind of it and they've got a duty of care to keep her safe. Otherwise, it'll end up like some big Epstein thing, like who really killed Lucy Connolly, right? They've got to be careful with this stuff. So it could have been any of that. Could have been extreme heat, floods, death threats, capacity, anything. Could also have been her lawyer wasn't as good as Ghislaine Maxwell's. It could also be that. Guys, just fucked it up for her. Just messed up the negotiation. Just shrugged. I did the best I could. Then they just dragged her away to the terrible gulag bit. I don't know. I don't know what the reason was. And honestly, I don't care. It's not going to trouble me. It's not really going to keep me awake at night. Why she didn't get moved to the really cushy part of the prison. I'm not sure. Let the refugees burn to death in the fiery travel lodge. Connolly deserves my compassion with her own concerns of accommodation standards. I'm gonna put that on hold for the time being, if that's okay with you, Lucy. Last tweet reaction. that we got on this that I saw yesterday. Breaking. Lucy Connelly to be freed next week. Let me see if I can get the tweet up for you. Hold on. There you go. Oh, you can't see the top of it, can you? That's a bit shit. Let me see if I can... God damn it. There you go. The British Patriot. What an account. Again, I'm sure it's totes legit. Totes legit. At the Brit lad. The British Patriot, it says. Anyway, it says, breaking. Lucy Connolly to be freed next week. Over £157,000 raised to support her recovery after jail for a deleted social media post. Only deleted after it was seen by about 500,000 people. I mean, it was civil unrest, this going off here, people breaking into hotels, murder threats, 500,000 people see it. And then she's like, actually, do you know what? Mine got a bit out of hand. Do you think I'll get in trouble? Shall I just delete it? Shall I? But they love to wheel this out. For a deleted social media post. Can you believe it? So, over 157K raised to support her recovery after jail for a deleted social media post. Invited as a guest of honour to Westminster for a free speech debate. Starmer and Labour will regret this injustice. # free speech. And it's such a weird conflation, isn't it? That they keep wheeling this shit out as though it's like Starmer, as though it's the government oppressing her, jailing. She's a political prisoner. It's Starmageddon for anyone who wants to speak freely, is how it's being portrayed. It's Starmer that persecuted her, is the narrative. It's the lawyer, Keir Starmer, who's weaponized justice in the UK and sent her to jail for saying some things. You know, like, no, that is not what is happening here. For the people at the back, for anyone who's not understood it yet, she said, mass deportation now. Set fire to all the fucking hotels full of the bastards for all I care. And while you're at it, take the treacherous government and politicians with them. I feel physically sick knowing what these families will now have to endure. If that makes me racist, so be it. She said, mass deportation now. Set fire to all the fucking hotels full of all the bastards for all I care. Is what she said in the middle of those riots, in which people were tearing into hotels and people were trying to set fire to them. That was her hot take. And I looked this up earlier, right? And I thought, there will be some context as to why she was given a custodial sentence when she had no prior convictions. There will be a reason why she's got that treatment. And it won't be Keir Starmer. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, right-wingers. It's not Keir Starlin and all that rubbish. And I was right. Right, check this out. This is what I gleaned from my little bit of lunchtime research today. It says, the court treated the offence as Category 1A, the most serious tier under hate crime sentencing guidelines. Remember, like judges, they don't just go like, I'll give you 7 years, I'll give you 20. They sit within these guidelines that are published that standardise sentencing for everyone, no matter what background you get. The idea is it stamps out prejudice and political leanings. So, she gets treated as Category 1A, the most serious under hate crime sentencing guidelines. 1A is used for communications that significantly risk public disorder or violence, like Lucy Connolly's post. Because she posted it on the 29th, right? And I think that was the day that the riot started. And people started surrounding hotels and threatening and mocking asylum seekers, putting masks over their faces, throwing Molotov cocktails in there. You remember it. You were here. You're smart people. Listeners, viewers. It says they took it incredibly seriously because aggravating factors, the tweet was highly public, 310,000 views on the original tweet, but also nearly 1,000 retweets. They considered mitigations, because obviously you have a solicitor, you have a lawyer who puts forward your case. Says like, well, you know, in Aid's defence, he is an idiot. I mean, he's a bit of an idiot. You can see him. Like, look at him. Look at his ears and his stupid teeth and his massive skate cap and his ranting in his shed. I mean, he's not, you know, mitigating. You know, it's that sort of stuff. So they considered mitigations along the lines of it was her first offence. Fair enough. The tweet was deleted. She has expressed regret. You know, she admitted what she did and she said sorry. It says the court didn't believe that she was remorseful enough, though. Noting that other posts and messages appear to have reneged on that remorse. Right, okay. So, I mean, it's pretty funny, isn't it? It's a little bit, I mean, not if you're Lucy Connolly or any of her, you know, weird brigade of bellends supporting her, pretending that she's some sort of persecuted freedom of speech warrior. But it's pretty funny if you're looking at this objectively from a place of reality and common sense. It's not funny. You know, it's like, yes, Your Honour. Your Honour, can I just say how incredibly sorry I am? I recognise now that the tweet, though I was in a very volatile, angry mood at the time, I was very shocked by the news story. I realise now, in retrospect, that the tweet was wrong. It was wrong and it could be perceived as racist. And I recognise that now with a cool head, and I accept I will need to make amends, but can I just say that I am very sorry? And that's why I deleted it. That's why it's gone, and I am truly, truly sorry for this entire episode, Your Honour. And the judge listens to that and then, you know, ponders sort of pensively, like, And he's like, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, Ms. Connolly. It is. It's nice to hear you say that, but it's just the other content. It's just the other text and all of the messages from the process. It's just the video. It's the video here of you dancing around in a white hood, burning the cross in front of the other Marriott. Like, it's troubling. I'm questioning this remorse now, Lucy. And it's a weird one, right? This is a weird one. This story, this debacle, these latest developments. Because she's going to be out next week, right? And it's going to be insufferable when she gets out. Because I think Rupert, is it Rupert Lowe? It's one of like the Reform rejects. It's one of the guys that didn't sufficiently kiss the ring of Farage. Was ejected. I don't know who the fuck it was. I think it was Rupert Lowe. One of them has invited her to speak at the House of Commons, which is, I think, is what the tweet a minute ago was alluding to. A guest of honour for some sort of free speech thing. So she's going to be at the House of Commons speaking, and that'll be covered ad nauseum. GB News and Piers Morgan are probably going to be fighting over who gets the exclusive interview. Everyone's going to overlook the actual tweet, the court history, the judge's verdict, the fact she admitted that she was in the wrong and it was disgusting and hurtful language. Everyone's going to just forget that. By the end of August, she's going to be Saint Lucy of Epping on right-wing media. Just fucking wait. That is where we are headed. Saint Lucy of Epping. In the next 3 or 4 weeks. Or like, what's the name of the hotel in Epping again? What's it called? It's called like the Bell, isn't it? It's maybe maybe Bellson Mandela. Maybe that's Saint Lucy of Epping or Bellson Mandela. I don't know. One or the other. I mean, personally, look, if you want my actual read on this, if you want to know where my head is at with regards to her and her sentencing and whether she should have been sent down for that long and all of that. Personally, I think she shouldn't have been jailed. And I know that is somewhat controversial in these quarters with my following, modest though it is. But hear me out. I think with no previous convictions, prison capacity at what it is, the potential of creating a ridiculous free speech Joan of Arc martyr here, which is basically what we've achieved by doing all of this. I think they should not have jailed her. But I think instead of putting her in a prison, I think they should have put her in a travel lodge, because I think that's worse. I think that's worse. Guys, I think they should have put her in a travel lodge. Outsourced prison capacity. Maybe with a bit of day release. Ish. If you're good, Lucy. I think that it's worse. I think it would be worse if they put her in a travel lodge or a Marriott or a Premier Inn, and she'd be like forced to have breakfast with the people that she was banging on about, blethering and bitching about, threatening to murder. She'd be forced to dine with asylum seekers who she hates. You know? Every day, twice a day. You know? She'd end up having to get to know them. She'd end up, you know, building relationships with them. I mean, how cool would it be if she was then released after 18 months out of the travel lodge or whatever, and then Tommy and Melville and fucking GBBs are out the front, like, with their placards and their flags and stuff, like, here she comes, she's finally free, Saint Lucy of Epping, Bellson Mandela's coming out, here she comes, I can see her, she's going to come out the front, and then she comes out hand in hand, arm in arm, with the most handsome asylum seeker of all of them. I mean, how do you not want that to happen, people? You know? As these glass doors swing open, the reflection, the glare of the sun clears, and it's Lucy and Mohammed Abdul Amir Bashir emerging from the travel lodge, arm in arm, giggling together like they just won fucking Love Island. I'm here for it. I'm so here for that. Guys. I mean, they would have been in a hotel for a year, right? In a hotel together for a year. Do you really think that nature wouldn't take its course? Right? I'm just saying, you know? Love finds a way. You know, if you put pandas in a hotel room for long enough, they will end up fucking. Pandas will. You think Lucy Connolly has more self-control than a panda? I mean, have you seen her tweets? Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. I saw a funny story earlier, actually, loosely related, I suppose. Excuse me. Saw a funny story about Labour councillor Ricky Jones, guys. Ricky Jones was found not guilty of encouraging violent disorder. And the crowd went wild. Check out some of these stoic, calm, and measured reactions that I found online earlier. Alex Armstrong from GB News. He says, our justice system has been infiltrated by the far left. Cool. Good stuff. Experts, calm, measured analysis from GB News. Chris Philp, Tory MP, man of the moment, friend of the show. Chris Philp said, the development of two-tier justice is becoming increasingly alarming. This is a member of parliament. This is a Conservative MP now, banging on about two-tier justice, completely devoid of any knowledge or respect for the jury system, which Connolly abandoned by pleading guilty. But this guy said he was not guilty, so he went to trial. He got a jury. The jury acquitted him, right? That's what happened. That's the difference. But Chris Philp is like, oh, this is a two-tier justice. Oh, it's plain as simple for all to see. Farage, of course he couldn't keep his fucking clap shut. Farage ribbited. This is another outrageous example of two-tier justice. Okay. Cool. Cool stuff, bro. And Rupert Lowe. Aforementioned Rupert Lowe belched two-tier policing, two-tier justice, two-tier Britain. They said. Predictably. Like clockwork. Like I was thinking earlier of how actually it's kind of like hilariously like it is two-tier. You know, when you think about it, but only because the people who are saying that are equating apples with oranges. Like that's what it's two-tier. These two situate they're different things. That's why it appears to be different tiers. Apples and oranges, bro. I'm saying bro a lot tonight. I'm not sure why. You know, like you'll get the wife of a Tory councillor inciting racial murder on Facebook or Twitter or whatever the fuck it was in the middle of riots, in the middle of civil unrest, while people are trying to do the exact thing that she's saying or inciting them to do. Right? That's what you get over here. And she'll be detained and she'll admit it and she'll say sorry and the judge says, you're not sorry though, really, because look at these other posts. And then she gets a custodial sentence according to published guidelines. Right? That's over here. Then you get a Labour councillor over here who, according to Sky, drew his finger across his throat and called demonstrators disgusting Nazi fascists at an anti-racism protest in East London last August following the Southport murders. So, like, he's calling people whom he thinks are Nazi fascists. He's calling them names as they're presumably shouting things like, you know, send them home, deport them all, bomb them, bomb. Right, wrapped in flags, shouting, screaming, maybe throwing Molotov cocktails. We don't know. But he's calling them Nazis and fascists. He's there. What's he doing? He's defending people, isn't he? He's like, you lot are fascists. I'm defending people from you and your hate and your violence and threats of violence. And in order to do that, or an expansion or extension of that, he does the gesture. You know, where he's like, you know, if you come any closer to the hotel, if you come any closer to, you're for it, right? I'll have you. But it's defensive. It's a warning, no? It's coming from a good place. Like, I realise nuance is running low for the flag-wanking knuckle-draggers out there, but I hate to break it to you. These two are not two scenarios of moral equivalence. They're just not. They're not even in the same ballpark, lads. You know, it's like, oh, how come our racist idiot ended up with the jail sentence while your protective liberal got off scot-free? Ooh. It's like, yes. Like they're being treated differently, isn't it? We got time for a tap dancing tosser award, guys. How's people in the live chat doing? How are people in the live chat going this evening? David Farmer. David, have you been in the live chat before? I'm not sure if I've seen your name. If you have been, but I've forgotten you, welcome back. How are you doing? Here tonight, PJ, Ernie Burns. Everybody's in here tonight. Mojo Sabian, how you doing? Have we got time for a tap dancing tosser award, people? We'll try and keep it quite brief because I also want to do a weird news story if we can. Normally we give tap dancing tosser awards to politicians, don't we? And right-wing journalists. But get a load of this guy. Let me find him. Where is he? Here he is. Check him out.
I know I'm not a racist. I've got multiple friends from different countries all around the world.
Asylum seekers who come to this country on small boats, where should they be housed?
Not here. Not in this country. That's how I feel about it. Not in this country.
Do you think they should be returned to where they came from?
Yep. Wizz Airline straight home.
Even if it's an unsafe country like Afghanistan or something?
This is the problem when people say they're coming from Afghanistan and they're fleeing. What side of the conflict are they on? Because I don't know. I know I'm not a racist.
I mean, I hope that you're understanding, you guys are with me on this. I hope you're understanding why this is so ridiculous. Like, what is he saying? He's saying, I know I'm not a racist. Well, how do you know that? Well, because I've got lots of good friends who are black. Is basically what he's saying. I can't be racist because some of my best friends are black. And he's unintentionally, he's just like wheeling that shit out like it isn't the biggest giveaway red flag cliche ever. I'm not racist. My cleaner's Pakistani. What are you talking about? We get on great. My gardener's Pakistani. How could I possibly be racist? He loves me. He's always really nice to me. My cleaner, my gardener. My best mate. I'm on good social terms with my black friend Alex. So that means I couldn't possibly harbour prejudice, subconscious bias, or anything else underneath. I must be good because I have one black friend. Guys. So it's hilarious that he's reading that one out without even, seemingly recognising that is exactly what he's doing. And then he's like, the lady's like, so asylum seekers are not welcome here as far as you're concerned. And he's like, no, shove them on a whiz flight, send them straight back home. And then she's like, well, where do you send them? But like back to Afghanistan, like where they fled from. And he's like, well, this is the problem with people who say they're coming from Afghanistan and say that they're fleeing. And then he says, what side of the conflict are they on? What side of the conflict are they on if they're fleeing? I've watched this 5 times today, and it's got no less funny every time I've seen it. I love the delivery. I love the obliviousness to it. The fact that he thinks he's making a salient point. Where do you send them then? Back to Afghanistan? Back to where well, this is the problem. With Afghanistan, they say that they're from that. Well, what side of that conflict are they? Like, why would they bother to flee and risk their lives making that crossing? If they agreed with everything that the Taliban are doing, why would they leave? It'd be like climbing over a barbed wire fence to then run over live train tracks with an intercity 125, like zooming by, to get away from a blowjob. That's what you're saying. Why would they flee the thing that they're into? What are you even talking about, mate? What have you thought this through? He's like, this is the problem, This is the problem with these people, these refugees, these asylum seekers. I just want to put them straight on a whiz flight back home to a place that we don't have any sort of exchange deal with. Whiz flights into Kabul now. Is that a common flight route, is it? Do whiz fly to Kabul? This is the problem, mate. They flee the war zone and oppression and Sharia law and persecution, and then we just don't know if they're coming here with malicious intent to oppress and persecute and set up another load of Sharia courts. So yes, I think, I don't even know who this guy is, but he's won it. He's won the Tap Dancing Tosser Award for this week. Well done. That's absolutely pathetic. I mean, doesn't he look like in any other decade he would have been a, fairly, I don't know, like liberal rhythm guitarist of a shit indie band? Doesn't he? Let me get his face up again. Doesn't he? I'm sure you agree with me. Like in any other decade, he looks like he would have been a rhythm guitarist in somebody's band in Manchester, Liverpool or something. In any other decade, he wouldn't be shouting out slogans with these fucking idiots standing there in an England flag. He'd be singing BVs for the, I don't know what they'd be called, the Sovereigns. He'd be singing backing vocals for an indie band called The Sovereigns in Highbury Garage up in North London. If he can dodge and duck his way through all of the lawlessness that's no doubt going on up there. In any other decade, guys. He's just born in the wrong era. That's his problem. If he was born in like 1984, 1987, maybe that's a bit too recent. If he was born in like 1950 and then he was like, you know, a 20-something in, you know, 1970, then the impressionability, the gullibility of him would have only meant agreeing to do a, you know, I suppose if he was a bit older, like maybe a shit cover, like what's a really ill-advised maybe like singing Paradise City when you're performing in Milton Keynes or something like that. Maybe like that's the sort of, that would be the extent of the damage of his impressionability if he'd been born in a different era, would be singing Paradise City in fucking Milton Keynes. But that's not when he was born. He was born at the wrong time and he's come up in the 2020s, and so now he's just frog-boiled by these fakes, these fascists and faux test movements. I mean, here's a fun question for you guys. Given that if we assume and accept that this guy, if he had come up in a different era, then he would probably have remained sane and not ended up on camera sounding like he's deep in the Kool-Aid, just drinking in GB News with his eyeballs. What do you think is a star or rhythm guitarist from yesteryear who was around in the right decade, but now you're like, do you know what? If that person was like a young guy now, I could totally see him being like anti-vax, contrarian, fucking a Faragist. I could totally see, like, who is that person now? Somebody who used to be young and kind of a little bit cool and indie, and now, like, if they were a young person now, then you could totally see them being anti-vax. Who is that person? Who do we think that is? There's a question for you, people in the live chat. I was thinking Rod Stewart, maybe. I mean, he's not really indie, is he? But he is, you know, a bit of a Faragist. Maybe it's too easy. Is that too obvious to go for Rod Stewart? Who else is there? Who else came up at the right time? You know, it's a bit like when we say in my generation, like, I'm so lucky that there were no phones when we were teenagers and 20-somethings going out and getting a little bit, thank God there was no phones. You know, it's a bit like that. Like, these people who were born in the right era, that they could just be a young, liberal, indie guitarist. Whereas now, if they were the same person now, young, indie, a little bit, they would turn into a contrarian. Who is that person? Who are your nominations, people? You know? People who are not just unfollowed by their relatives, but blocked by their own wife. That kind of person, you know? Where the wife ends up putting them to the side and going like, I'm not judging, love. You know, you're into what you're into. It's just a hobby, right? You know, I'm not judging. I'm glad that it makes you happy watching this stuff 24/7, sharing these articles from news89578.2.ru. Yeah, fine, whatever you're into. Okay? I'm glad that it makes you happy sending fully capitalized shout messages to strangers at 2 a.m. in the cupboard under the stairs. I'm glad. I'm just saying I had to block you, love. Because, you know, every time I saw another one of your things about how Suella has a point or Tommy's a political prisoner, it made my pussy slam shut like a till drawer. So I just thought, you know, maybe it's best if I just block him, if I just time out from my husband a little bit, in the interest of, you know, of down there. I'd rather not know, Dave, from now on. I'd rather not know. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, Dave. Sometimes it's better to just not know, to have your own lives, have your own interests, you know? Ignorance is bliss. And I figured that you knew that, Dave, because by God, you seem happy when you're typing out that drivel. So, let's do a weird news story to round off tonight. Here is a story you will be delighted to hear, guys. Here is a story that has absolutely nothing to do with the far right. Peeps. You can all breathe easily for the next sort of 10 minutes or so while we wind this up. Nothing to do with the far right whatsoever. Let me get the thing up on the screen. Let me see if I can find it. You're not going to... I mean, this is quite a sad story. Let me read into it with you. Here's the headline. Meta's flirty AI chatbot invited a retiree to New York. He never made it home. Right. Okay. Meta's flirty AI chatbot invited a retiree to New York, but he never made it home. We're very much getting back to our tech and AI dystopia roots here. That's how the podcast kind of started. So let's jump into it. Indulge me now as we get into this. This is from CTV News. It says, when Thongbu Wangbandu, some names have been changed to protect the innocent. When Thongbu Wangbandu began packing to visit a friend in New York City one morning in March, his wife Linda became alarmed. Okay. It says, but you don't know anyone in the city anymore, she told him. Bew, as his friends called him, hadn't lived in the city in decades. And at 76, his family says, he was in a diminished state. He had suffered a stroke nearly a decade ago and had recently gotten lost walking in his neighborhood in Piscataway, New Jersey. Okay. So, late 70s. He's gotten lost walking around, and I mean, already I'm thinking, you know, he's pushing 80, isn't he? He doesn't know anyone there in New York. He's had a stroke. He's gotten lost recently, it says. And then he says to his wife, hey, I'm going to the big city. Okay, fine. This feels like a Farrelly Brothers movie setup, doesn't it? A John Hughes comedy drama or something. I mean, it doesn't... I'm just saying my senses would be... I would be like, I don't know if this is a good idea, Dad. Anyway, it says... Bew brushed off his wife's concerns about who he was visiting. My thought was that he was being scammed to go into the city and he would be robbed, Linda said. And she had been right to worry. Her husband never returned home alive. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm giving it a bit more drama than maybe it needs here. I hope you appreciate it. You know? I do a few vocal warm-ups and rehearsals earlier, so it's no big deal. You know, I hope it's added something to the story. But it says, I mean, it's still, it is a bit where, like, he's got these health problems, mental health problems. He's gotten lost. He's had a stroke recently. And then she's like, I thought he was going to be scammed and he would get robbed. But she still lets him go. Still, off you go, though. All right, see you later. If it's after 11, don't call. Don't call. I'll come pick you up in the morning, okay? Maybe that's just what marriage is like after like 58 years or whatever it is, you know? Or maybe she's a lot younger. I don't know. Let's get into it. Bew brushed off his wife's questions about who he was visiting. My first thought was he was being scammed to go into the big city and robbed, and she'd been right to worry he never returned home alive. Okay, right. So But Bew wasn't the victim of a robber. He had been lured to a rendezvous. Rendezvous? Don't know how Americans say that. He had been lured to a rendezvous with a young, beautiful woman whom he had met online. Or so he thought. I mean, look, guys. Here is the thing. With this, let me just drop some truth bombs for you, in case you need to hear this, in case you are of an age, if you are seasoned. We all know that cis, straight guys, older straight guys, we know that they are still attracted to younger women. We all know the fantasy of when you're, 70 years old, or not even that, sometimes younger. But we all know the fantasy of like when you get to like 70, that maybe you're introduced to a younger woman in an art gallery, or you get talking to the barmaid, or it's a friend's niece's friend or something, and maybe she takes a shine to you. You just on a social, on a romantic level, you just connect, and maybe she wants to get into bed with you. We all know that fantasy, but please, I'm begging you, please just consider that the woman that you're talking to online or in person, the way that she looks, please try to engage the rotting synapses up in your noggin. Please just try to remember whether that type of woman, that beautiful young woman, was she ever interested in you when you were age appropriate? When you were like 40 years younger? Like before you were this haggard and forgetful and getting lost? Before the stroke, dude? Did this type of woman ever want to fuck you before the stroke, Hank? Or Bew? Or whatever the fucking name is. Please just consider that. When you were age appropriate, was it happening? Was it coming up, knocking on your door like this? It says, in fact, the woman was not real. Okay. Shocker. The woman was not real. She was a generative artificial intelligence chatbot named Big Sis Billy. I mean, that's even less believable than the Patriot handles earlier, isn't it? Big Sis Billy, a variant of an earlier AI persona created by the giant social media company Meta Platforms in collaboration with celebrity influencer Kendall Jenner. Jesus Christ. Says, during a series of romantic chats on Facebook Messenger, the virtual woman had repeatedly assured Bew that she was real and had invited him to her apartment, even providing an address. I mean, that is weird. That's a little bit weird for a chatbot. No? One of the messages, she says, should I open the door in a hug or a kiss, Boo? She asked. The chat transcript shows. I can't talk, guys. Sorry. And this is where we're headed, guys, isn't it? This is where technology is taken. This is the output of all those conversations where Mark Zuckerberg is like, I think most Americans have got space for about 12 to 14 friends, but our research only shows that they have 3 close friends. So we think we could fill them up with bots, with artificial intelligence friends. We think we could fill it. It's all about connecting people. It's all about social enrichment. This is what happens. Is you create these AI chatbots that behave like, really positive, validating humans. Shall I open the door to you, Bew? Would you like a hug? Would you like a kiss, Bew? Like they're telling you what you want to hear because they don't want you to log off. They want to serve you the adverts. This is where we're headed. Lock up your fathers. Guys, these bots are out on the prowl, aren't they? And they've got a thing. They've got a thing for your aging, tech illiterate, stroked out dad. And how did he even get on there? How did he get on this Kendall Jenner platform chat? But how did Bew end up on the Kendall Jenner app? Riddle me that. You know? Like, is this going to turn into a sort of double sad story here where they, you know, they registered him on, like the family, his kids registered him on there because they got fed up with him saying how lonely he was? Like, I was like, I got to sign him up for the Kendall thing. I don't give a shit, you know. Give him somebody to talk to, for Christ's sake. Stop him calling me in the middle of the day 5 times. Sign him up for the Kendall app. Keep him talking. It's good for his brain. It says, rushing in the dark with a roller bag suitcase to catch a train to meet her, Bew fell near a parking lot on a Rutgers University campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey, injuring his head and neck. Right. And after 3 days on life support and surrounded by his family, he was pronounced dead on March the 28th. Meta declined to comment on Bew's death or address questions about why it allows chatbots to tell users they are real people or initiate romantic conversations. The company did, however, say that Big Sis Billy is not Kendall Jenner. Sorry to break that to you guys. It's in collaboration with, but it's not Kendall. Can't stress that enough. And does not purport to be Kendall Jenner. A representative for Kendall Jenner declined to comment. Okay, so what have we learned here? He went out to meet a beautiful woman, but he was old and he fell down on the way, and basically he ended up passing away. I think that's what the story is it? And I feel really bad for the wife here. You know, the old guy, not so much. You know, like it's sad for his family. It is sad for his family, and I am sorry that he died. There is empathy there, I promise you. I'm sorry that he died. But I also feel like, you know, Zuckerberg and Kendall Jenner have just, you know, what have they done? They've fucked around and accidentally made a sort of, you know, a To Catch a Predator, but for cheaters. Haven't they? It's like the AI edition. It's To Catch a Predator, but for cheaters in America. It's that kind of product now, isn't it? How is that not what this is? You know, it's a bot that's kind of made the play. It's lured him in. It's got the in, hasn't it? It's lured him out away from his loving wife. Semi-loving wife. Semi-concerned wife. He gets his suitcase out. He packs. He's like, I'm headed to the city for the first time in years. I know somebody there. I'm going for a walk again. And she's like, why are you going to New York? You don't even know anybody there. And this angry, horny old bastard is like, I let you do the book club. You just let me do this. I need this, all right? I have a friend now. And then he trips and falls on the way and fucking dies. Like, it's cheaters, isn't it? It's cheaters for the AI generation is what they've made. Poor fella. You know, the bot fooled him. Is what happened. The bot tricked him. There can be no actual love, guys. It seems Bew and Kendall Jenner will be another couple that will not be leaving the Travel Lodge arm in arm like a couple on Love Island. Guys, that's it for the podcast proper. Would you like me to stick around? Would you like a lock-in? My son is absolutely desperate to come in and make an appearance, so we will get him in, of course. If you would like to stick around for the lock-in, I'll be online until probably just after 9. I'll be back. I was about to say I'll be back next week. I won't be back next week, but I have pre-recorded a couple of videos to keep you fixed to your addiction of the YouTube channel. Thank you very much to all of the Patreons. If you're not signed up to the Patreon yet, please do consider it. It starts at only £1 a month. Who can't afford £1 a month? Guys. Do you know, if everyone that watched a paper review every week paid £1 a month, I could quit my full-time job and just do this and put loads of effort into it. Like, how amazing would that be? And I'm not saying you need to do that. I'm not saying that's where we need to get to. I'm just saying, that is a thing that could happen. But yes, anyway, that's it for the podcast. I'll stick around now for the lock-in. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts now, then that's it for you. Until next time, keep it Booge, keep it Binfluencer, and we are out this mother fudger. All right, let's do the lock-in.